Okay, so, me and, bro over here, we watch a lot of anime. We like talking about it from time to time.
Of course.
So, yeah, Bleach. It's back.
Yes, I have waited 10 years for this. As have many people, I've seen videos on YouTube where people have just recently been getting into Bleach. And, it's cool to see their reaction and, how they follow up with the series. Because they do weekly, or I don't know if it's weekly or daily episode reviews. Or they'll watch like 2 or 3 episodes. And they'll post their reactions to it, and they were doing that for like the past year, so they were catching up. All right, so it's cool to see how they got into it, and how they enjoy it, and Bleach has its ups and downs, especially from the original first part of the series. But I reread Bleach the manga just recently. Just so I can, remind myself, because it's been a long time since the manga ended, too.
So I've never read the manga.
Yeah.
How true is it to the anime?
So that's the one-to-one adaptation kind of
that's
thing, right?
where all my knowledge comes from, is from the anime.
Yeah. So, for the anime, if you're referring to the first part of the series, before this 1,000-year blood war, it was, for the most part, mostly adapted, I guess you could say, in a sense, in terms of one-to-one adaptation. There was a couple of things, obviously the fillers, happened kind of thing, right? But that was because, the old ways of the industry, and they're meeting their weekly deadlines. And,
of course.
As big as an influence as Bleach was back in those days, that they didn't want to, just do a seasonal thing. Seasonal anime wasn't really a big thing back in those days, you know what I mean? So they would constantly pump out episodes, and it's just like, oh, okay, yeah, and it was such an influence, back in our day. It was Toonami, right?
Yes.
So, the Dragon Ball Z days.
Toonami.
That's where all the expose came in from anime. Like, we grew up on Dragon Ball Z, right after school, right? So we just come in there and just watch Goku fighting to save the world.
Yeah, you had to wait a couple episodes until they actually got to the fighting. The build up to the fight.
On the last episode of Dragon Ball Z,
Goku's still powering up.
Will he fight Frieza again? Come on, bro. You're powered up for 10 episodes, man.
Oh gosh, what was... I remember he was on a spaceship and he was training to come to Earth to fight. Yep. And we're just like, when is he gonna get there?
In 40 episodes.
Meanwhile, everyone's there fighting them and they're getting their ass kicked.
Yes, of course. He's gotta make his grand entrance, you know what I mean? So, that's...
Everyone's leaving craters in the ground, passed out.
The good old Yamacha meme.
People getting punched into the mountains.
Exactly.
Oh, gosh.
Just getting that one punch man in the face, I'll tell you what.
And of course, Goku shows up super strong.
Of course.
Not flinching.
True.
Moving in an instant.
Yeah.
Taking people out. Anyways.
I think that's when he learned instant transmission in the meantime when he was coming back to Earth. But, whatever. It's back in the day. But, Dragon Ball Z, my perspective as, I grew up on Dragon Ball Z,
Oh, yeah.
I was like, okay, I'm a fan, and eventually my taste grew in a sense, right? So
as all of ours did.
Exactly.
We had to move on. There was always something better.
The fandom, it can be a little toxic, all right? I'm like, okay, it's cool if you like Dragon Ball, you do you, bro, but I think it's about time to get to some better stories rather than just only fighting all the time, from my perspective.
Yeah.
If you do it right, the shonen, it's pretty good. At some point in time, I evolved my taste in different genres of anime, and I opened up and saw different things or whatever. So, I've got my anime list. So,
Yeah.
I think it's about 500 anime watch or something like that at this point. But yes. Bleach, Naruto, One Piece. They were, and technically still are, well, because they're influenced in the West, or considered the big 3. Mm-hmm. And there's some sort of debate always on, I don't know what people are talking about. Fight amongst yourselves, folks, but it's just the reality is, in terms of sales and influence, they were considered the big three for a reason because of that. So, you know, One Piece is still going on, right? And
it's nearing its life cycle.
Yeah, I mean, if you read the manga, I'm not going to say any spoilers. If you're keeping up with the manga currently, you know that One Piece is coming to an end because we're seeing characters and so on and so forth in certain events that we never thought we would ever see the light of day of. So things are starting to get answered and so on and so forth. And, you know, as a big One Piece fan, I'm like, okay, you know, hey, we're seeing the end of One Piece and you know, shout out to the bros that, you know, and the homies that passed away before they got to see the end of One Piece, alright? You know, I mean, it's been going on for like 20-something plus years, you know what I mean? I'm like, you know, it sucks that they don't get to see that, but hey, we get to see it.
And somehow, I never got it.
Hey, no worries, man. I know it's intimidating, right? But, you know, if honestly speaking, you know, read the manga is going to be a lot faster. You know what I mean? Sure, it's not the animation, and sure, there's like 1,000 something chapters, you know, but you're flipping through 18 pages of, you know, a manga or whatever, but, you know, depending on how much dialogue is there, you can go get through it pretty quickly. But I will say that with a caveat, because Oda likes to put all sorts of Easter eggs, per se, in every chapter, right?
Okay.
So, you know, I really like the character development of One Piece because it's you know, as they say on the internet, peak fiction, alright?
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I was explaining, you know, I consider it, and this is just my opinion, I consider One Piece to be pretty much peak fiction. You know, there's so much world building and character development, so I'm like, yeah, you know, I consider it to be a pretty good story. So it's my number one. And shout out to Kelly because I know she had that on her top anime list when she did an interview with Crunchyroll.
Okay.
So I'm like, cool, nice taste, Kelly. And she likes Bleach too, and I'm like, alright.
Okay. So, Bleach. The animation was really good.
Yeah.
It was high.
It was
high
actually,
budget right there.
Yeah, it was a lot better than I thought it would be, to be honest. Because, you know, I've seen some comments or whatever from reviews or from the community, and they're like, oh yeah, you know, they're judging it based off of promotional videos. And I'm like, yeah, it's not really anything to go by. You gotta wait till the episode comes out to really specify or judge it. But I think it did pretty good. You know, it's a lot better than I thought it would be. Some of the character designs, you know, were faithful adaptations to the manga originally. So I think it was really good, and I think we're in for a really good treat because, I mean, the last arc is very long. And the only difference is, now granted, there are some additions in the anime where it wasn't in the manga, but that is only because Tite Kubo, the author, said that, you know, he wasn't satisfied with the way that, you know, towards the end of it, because he was having held it and he didn't like the way, you know, it was going about or whatever. And Shonen Jump is pretty, and Shueisha specifically, are pretty ruthless in terms of their editorial department. So, you know, some things might get cut and so on and so forth. So, but in the anime adaptation that's going on now, we're going to see some additional content that wasn't in the manga. It's all still canon.
Okay.
So it's going to be portrayed the way that Kubo wants to portray it. And I'm like, that's awesome. I can't wait for that. So you can't afford to miss the anime because it is adding stuff that would be canon in certain fights that wasn't in the manga. So make sure you're looking at that and watching it. It's the big thing, I'll tell you what.
Definitely be keeping up with that.
Oh yeah.
And now, Chainsaw Man.
Yes, the legendary Chainsaw Man that had the extreme hype on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
First of all,
yeah,
I want to say I did a reaction video to the opening.
Okay, all right.
I got my first copyright strike.
Oh gosh, I knew it.
Oh, they got me, son. Oh, okay.
The YouTube AI got you, huh?
Yeah. So I thought I blurred it enough and muted it enough so they wouldn't notice. But they got me. Got my first strike.
You tested the waters and you failed.
I did. Okay.
Such as YouTube.
Okay.
But yes.
So cool.
But anyway, yeah. So that's an experience. Yeah. So Chainsaw Man. So I saw it. You know, when it came out. You know, I had the simulcast. It's obviously on Crunchyroll. And so I watched it. And there's a lot more CGI than I thought there was.
Yes,
to be honest.
there was.
I was like, okay, it kind of works for
Yeah, it doesn't look too bad.
Yeah.
We've seen bad CG in anime.
Oh, yes.
This is like just steps up there, like way better than some of the crappiest ones.
Let's not mention Berserk.
Yeah.
But in any case, yeah, I mean, it worked, but I can see where some of it was kind of janky, you know, from when he was like the Chainsaw Man mode or whatever.
Yeah, I think when he's in that mode, it's just a CG version of it.
Yeah. And it might not be that like that all the time. It's just, you know, it's building up the...
We'll see.
Oh, gosh, I hope not. Come on, Mappa. I mean, hey, just, you know, don't try to heavily rely on that, you know what I mean? It's good, but let me smooth it out a little bit more, you know what I mean? I heard, like, the ending theme songs. Each one is going to be different for every episode.
Okay.
So it's like, oh, okay, you know, that's pretty cool. And going back to what you mentioned about the opening theme, I saw like posts on Reddit. There's like, oh yeah, there is a bunch of movie references.
Yes,
I was like, wow,
I saw
that's
it.
pretty cool.
Twitter was just dropping all of it, and I was seeing it. I was like, oh, I really didn't notice it the first time I watched it.
Yeah,
I guess the first time I watched it, I was just analyzing it for, you know,
like
the animation's really good, the song's really good,
right?
And then I was like, it wasn't until I got on Twitter and seeing reactions, I was like, there's references.
Yeah, that's when I found out. I was like, oh, wait a second. And I saw a post on Reddit. Yeah, obviously, I'm not on Twitter for privacy related reasons. I don't trust none of that. But anyway, so I was like, okay. So I saw the post on Reddit and I saw like a little video and they were talking about every reference that, like, you know, stop it or wouldn't mention the reference and have the actual movie, like, reference playing along with it. And I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Screen,
yeah, like the Pulp Fiction and so on and so forth. And I was like, man, that's awesome, man. Yeah, I would have never thought, but shout out to Mappa and the original creator for Chainsaw Man. I'm still reading the manga, trying to catch up. I'm like 50 chapters in. So.
Dude, so am I.
No, nice.
So am I. I'm 50 chapters in also.
Nice.
That's basically where I stopped.
True. Yeah, so I'm trying to catch up when I can. You know, obviously at work or when I'm free. But yeah, I mean, and this might be a hot take.
Okay.
Personally, I think that Chainsaw Man's hype was a little overblown.
I can see that.
Yeah, leave your comments in below and flame me if you want. But hey, you know,
I can understand your hot take. Yeah.
I mean, it's good that it's a show. It's another new, fresh, you know, kind of perspective of a different story or whatever. But I'm like, you know, all right, sure. You know, I've seen some other things that I prefer. But hey, you know, if you like it, you like it. You know, if as the Trash Taste boys say, if it's mid, I don't consider it mid. I'll say that much. But you know, it's a fresh little experience. You know, from the midst of what I'm reading and watching. So, you know, it's cool.
Yeah. Maybe we'll talk about more anime.
Yeah, maybe
next time.
Maybe a lot.
More Bleach next week, or more Chainsaw Man next week.
Of course. Yes.
But yes, thank you for watching, and if you want to see more, just like and subscribe. And
shout out to all the weebs out there.
Yeah. And you will see timestamps below to skip whatever to wherever you want to see and whatever you want to see. So yeah, that is that.
Sweet. See y'all later.